All right, so you've probably watched a ton of goal setting videos already, but there's one crucial element that every single one of these videos keep missing. And without it, even if you do hit your goals, you will feel stuck, miserable, and still exactly where you started. And in this video, I want to show you what this missing factor actually is and how to use it to create goals that will actually build a life that is worth living for you, not a life that just looks good on Instagram. But before we dive into that, if you have no idea who I am, my name is Belman Valk, and with this channel, I hope to inspire and pave the way for the younger me, the college version of me that felt stuck, confused, and didn't really know what to do, but still had this hunger to make something of himself. Eventually, I did follow this hunger and started a ecom business, which failed hard, by the way. Then I made my first $10,000 online with freelance copywriting. And then I ended up co-founding a marketing agency and turning over $200,000 per year with my partners. But unfortunately, I lost myself in the process and I lost track of my own path, which is why I decided to quit the agency and get into content to help you avoid all the mistakes that I made and so you can pave your own path 20 times faster than I did. If that sounds cool, feel free to subscribe. But either way, let's get into the video. All right, so let's talk about the main mistake people make when it comes to goal setting. And I have no idea why nobody really addresses this, but the main thing that you hear when people talk about setting goals is either of two things, right? They say like, you need to set SMART goals. They need to be specific, measurable, blah, 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 right? They say all that stuff. Or they say, no, you don't need goals, you need systems, blah, blah, blah. And while both of these are true, they're missing one important fucking thing. And I'll talk about this from my own personal perspective. So for example, if I look back when I was younger, right, I was getting into self-improvement. I was watching a ton of goal setting videos myself. And I was actually like one of the only people in my environment that was setting goals and writing them down. And to be honest with you, if I look back at the goals I wrote down and what I remember, they were fucking stupid. I would write down goals like, I want a penthouse, I want a private jet, I want to have 10 girlfriends, I want to be European champion in judo, I want blah, 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 blah. It was like a bunch of things. Most of them were actual things, materials, and most of them were just based on the expectations of other people, right? And that's what I want to get into, because very likely when you look at your goals, if you're completely honest with yourself, most of them are probably based on other people's expectations reflected onto you, or is based from carnal desires, or it's just external factors and environment. So for example, I'll talk about the carnal desires first. So personally, I was really, really hungry for status and women. That was quite clear. But is that going to give me a good life? Hell no, not at all. It's only going to destroy my life. I just didn't know that back then because I never actually thought about it. Second thing is like the European champion stuff. The only reason why I wanted to be a European champion or world champion in judo was because I was an athlete back then, but I actually didn't want to be an athlete. It was just like, oh yeah, I'm an athlete. I should be, European champion. Yeah. But I didn't actually care about it. It was just like, oh yeah, I'm an athlete. I'm training twice a day. So this is my reality. So yeah, I should have a goal for that, When I say it out loud, it's fucking stupid. But then you may also have a goal, like your parents may want you to go to college and you may have as a goal, like, I want to like finish my master's degree or whatever. But if you're honest with yourself, do you really care? Probably not. So that is the main thing that I want to get at, is that your goals are actually not your goals. Your goals are just your fleshly desires. Your goals are just external factors and external expectations reflected onto you. It's not actually you. So if you even achieve those things, you're still going to be miserable because it's not yours. All those other people are going to be happy. All those other people are going to be impressed. Like, oh, like, well done, bro. Like, you became a champion. Nice. How do you feel? Like, blah, blah. I don't give a shit. Right? Don't care. Like, what now? Or if you actually like finish your studies and you get the damn like degree, you get the paper, like, oh my God, your parents are gonna be so proud. And now how do you feel? Right? Now you need to go look for a job that you don't even want. And you just wasted like 5, 6, how many years of your life studying something that you didn't want to study. That's why the main thing is that you shouldn't be setting any goals before you know what type of life you want to live. What do you want your lifestyle to be like? That's what you need to know first. Not things, lifestyle. It's not about the cars you have. It's not about the planes you have. It's not about how many women you have. No, it's about what kind of life do you want to live? Where do you want to spend your time? Where do you want to live? What people do you want to have around? What do you want to be doing from a day-to-day basis? What do you want your summers to be like? What do you want your winters to be like? Where do you want to be? Right? Those types of questions are way, way, way more important than what color you want your Bugatti to be. And the same is actually true when you have a specific money goal, right? And that is a big mistake that I made as well, because for almost every single freelancer or anyone that gets into business, the first goal is to hit 10K, right? Which is not a bad goal. Obviously, that's a good goal. But damn, you need to be specific. I put the goal to make 10K. But what does that even mean? Eventually, through all my, hard work, blood, sweat, and tears, we peaked with the agency at around $25,000 per month. Obviously, we didn't make this every single month, but that was like the peak, $25,000. However, how much of that is profit? How much of that is profit in my personal bank account? Because I had partners as well. I wasn't doing it by myself. How much of that is actually left over after rent, food, visas, taxes, all that bullshit? Right? How much is actually there? So what I'm getting at is that I did actually hit the 10K goal, right? I crushed it. But did I? What I should have done instead is I should have put a goal to hit 10K net profit for me personally after tax. That would have been a way better goal. On paper, it looked like I was doing so amazing, but people didn't know like all the BS that came with it, how many actual costs were involved, how much BS and stress was involved, how many problems there were. Nobody sees that, right? They just see the number and be like, oh. But that's not really how it is. But why was that the case is because I didn't make the goal specific enough. I didn't tailor it to the lifestyle that I wanted to have. For example, right now, I have a specific goal that I'll only have to work 6 hours a day to be able to make $50,000 net profit per month. Right? That is my current goal. And why do I do that? Is because that will allow me to live the lifestyle that I want to live. If I'm working 14 hours a day, every single day, how am I ever going to be free? How am I ever going to spontaneously take my girlfriend to, I don't know, a museum somewhere or whatever? Or going for a hike or take the family to a restaurant dinner? Even if you have the money, you don't have the time. That's why you need to have specific time goals as well, depending on what you want your reality to be like. So yeah, man, again, before setting your goals, first make sure that you know what you want your perfect day to look like. How much free time do you want? How many hours do you want to work? How many hours do you want to chill? What do you want to be working on? And if you don't know the specifics yet, just make sure to have an idea of like, in this area, or this area, like make it as specific as possible. I'm not saying that you should make it like specific to the T and you should already commit to this one thing if you have no idea what you want to do. I'm not saying that you have to do it like that, but with the knowledge that you have right now, with the understanding that you have of yourself right now, try to make it as specific as possible, tailored to that. Think about where do you want to be? Who do you want to have around? And then these questions obviously are going to correlate, because if you want to have family around, then obviously you'll probably be in the same country as your family. So I want you to think about this deeply. What do you want your lifestyle to look like? Okay. And then you can reverse engineer the goals from there and create a life that you actually want to live, and not just a bunch of meaningless trophies where people are like, yeah, but you're fucking miserable in the process. So how do you set the right goals for that, right? Because you may have this specific lifestyle in mind, but then you're like, okay, but what do I do to create that? So what I recommend is, first and foremost, of course, you line up the lifestyle. What do you want it to be like? Second is find someone that is living that type of lifestyle or going in that direction. Learn about what they are doing and then just tailor down your specific goals from that. It's really as simple as that. It's really not complicated. But yeah, that's all I have for today's video. I hope it helps. Like, don't just set goals because it's cool or because your mom and dad want you to have that goal or because your girlfriend wants you to have that goal, whatever. Set the goals based on your ideal lifestyle. And if you want to learn how to design this type of lifestyle and actually how to reverse engineer everything and how the process works, I have a community in the link in the description. It has a 7-day trial where I talk about all of that. Plus, you have a community of guys that are all on a daily basis hitting their targets, chasing their goals, and keeping each other accountable. So if that's the type of environment you want to be in, then consider joining. Link is there. Either way, man, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to give it a like, give it a subscribe if you want to see more content like this. If you have specific requests or specific struggles, please don't shy away from putting them in the comments. I would love to hear about it because then I can make videos tailored to you. And before you go, there's a video right here that YouTube thinks you'll really want to watch and will be really valuable for you. So make sure to check that as well. See y'all.